This is the talk of Music City Real Estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monty Moore with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carey Ann with CMG Financial and my mortgage team.
Every week we'll be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away at questions@talkmusiccity.com.
Monty.
Jason Hoover's in the house. And Jason, I was sitting here thinking earlier, I thought,
Monty and Jason. Jason and Monty.
I bet you're glad you don't have to say what she normally says. You know, when every once in a while when you have to cover for her, it's like, God, the guy, you know,
He's so good, though.
He's so good.
He's so good. He's such a trooper.
Until he gets to the Clutter Ain't Cute part, you know.
I love that.
I'm just kidding.
I love that.
Hey,
We
so
missed him on a last couple, though. You've been playing baseball? What you been doing? Were you here last time?
No, I wasn't here last time.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
You were organizing dresses. How did the dress drive go?
Dress drive was a success, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the biggest one yet. Every year it keeps getting bigger. Yeah,
I love that.
It was. I don't know what the final numbers are, but I know she said that it was the most dresses they've ever had and the most people that came through.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And what's it's I want to say yes to the dress, but that's a TLC show.
Yes, love the dress.
Love the dress, yes. And so for those that don't know about it, definitely look it up. Minnie Hoover does an amazing job with her crew. Love the dress, making a difference for all those young women out there with some fabulous dresses. I was telling Monty, I'd laugh because I said, Monty, I gave every dress I owned like last year. I don't know, I had to go shopping to get something.
Well, that's what I didn't understand. Having it repeatedly, I'm really surprised that they're able to find more dresses every year from the same people. I guess that ripple effect must go out and out.
Well, I would think last year it'd be hard because of COVID. We didn't really go out. Normally I would have extra flair, around to kind of give back. But next year I have some. So I'm prepping. So this is good
You're
stuff.
thinking about that when you're buying them now that you're going to be able to give them away next year.
Yeah, because you can only wear it once or twice,
Well,
I don't know.
it makes it easy on the purchase, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Look, see? I feel good now that I'm buying this very expensive dress because I'm going to be able to give it to another young gal.
To a young lady who wouldn't have that money
I
to do
love that. I'm already going to write it. Yeah, there you go. At that point, I think it's an automatic write-off for your business. I think that's great.
It should be a write-off. Absolutely.
It's putting it back into the community for sure.
We're going to talk about a really, really sensitive topic today.
Ooh.
The topic is, are you worth your commission?
Are you, Monty?
I'm asking you, Carey Ann, are you worth yours?
Mine is very minimal in comparison, but
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I feel, I'm blind in one eye. So how about, what does that say? Very good.
Well, so you only should get half then, I guess, right?
It's an automatic cut. I love it.
Well, let's talk about our awesome sponsor.
Well, yes, we're so grateful for Music City Removal. They are the #1 junk removal service in Nashville from residential, commercial, and construction. They're experts in ridding junk. Their costs include labor and dumping fees without any hidden or added expenses. So whether you need a full clean out or just one item removed, they have you covered.
The Music City Removal team knows the importance of respect and trust while in someone else's home. They understand the inconvenience of junk left behind by previous homeowners and tenants and are determined to provide an affordable and customer-focused junk removal service that puts you first. For a free on-site estimate, just go to musiccityremoval.com. That's musiccityremoval.com.
Because clutter ain't cute.
And Jason wanted to jump in there and say that. I could tell he was
coming out and had to hold it.
Shazam!
So Carey Ann, before we get on this amazingly hot topic that we're going to talk about, I want to know. I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Oh goodness!
But that wouldn't be the first time. So do you remember one of the last times we were here? Our guest was talking about something, and we both pulled out our phones for our book that we were reading. The book we were reading at that moment. Do you remember the name of that book?
Something about who. It's not the something but who. I can't remember.
Mary.
I'm glad it made such an impression in your mind.
It's been a long day today.
I'm really putting you on the spot, aren't I?
Yeah. But it's a great book.
It's who, not how.
See, I got the who part of it.
Dan Sullivan. Who, not how.
Huge.
How. I can't say enough about that book. I think that everybody should read the book. Who wants to grow their business should read Who, Not How. Because we get distracted by the how. How do we do this?
Yeah.
And not realizing that that is not our expertise. So we should be finding a who that can help us do that so that we can do what we do best.
Well,
okay?
you know, and Jason's so great with the DISC test. We talked about that a lot. And you just know it inside and out. And it's really finding the people that, you know, will fill in the extra buckets that are not your strengths, you know, and you truly stay in your lane.
Yeah.
You know, and some of us control freaks, and many could be on the call with us right now, but it's hard to break free from that. Like we want to do it all because we feel like we can do it all, but then you're just not going to get to that next level without truly finding those folks that can help you and surround yourself with greatness, I think.
One of my very first things that I finally had to delegate was mowing my grass because nobody had those lines as straight as I did, you know?
Yeah.
But that was an example of how controlling some that we that are control freaks are. And it sometimes goes with the territory of being a top performer, I think, is being a control freak maybe, and not trusting our reputation with somebody else. But I learned from John Maxwell a long time ago, if somebody can do it 80% as well as we can, then we need to let that happen, or we are destined not to grow.
Well, tell them the secret, that the concept wasn't even written, but he didn't even write the book.
Well, when we're talking about? Yeah. I mean, he actually walked out what he was referring to in that book, Who Not How. He had somebody else write the book.
That's what I'm saying. Like he had a who write the book.
He had the who write the book.
And same way with John Maxwell. He has somebody else that writes. I mean, he collaborates and gives them the information, but he's not he is not the book writer, right? He's got the ideas, he's got the quotes, he's got the the information.
He gave this gentleman the concept, and then trusted him in the writing of the book. Well, the reason I bring it up, one of the reasons is he's written another book since then, that you need to know about as well.
Yeah.
We all around this table need to know about this book. It's called The Gap and the Gain.
Gap and the Gain.
The Gap and the Gain. We, as, again, performers, and I can speak to most realtors that like this, because I think you have to have a little bit of that in you if you want to do this business. You're a little competitive or you're a little driven, to not be the normal 8 to 5 person and so forth. Nothing against the 8 to 5s. Lately, that might be a better way. I don't know. As crazy as that market's been. But the gap and the gain, we get stuck in the gap, meaning that we didn't quite accomplish it, or we didn't get to where we wanted to be, and we're living in the future rather than enjoying the present and being present in that. And instead of looking at what we haven't accomplished in the gap, we should be looking at our gain, measuring behind us and say, oh my God, I'm a lot further than because I'm one of the worst about that. For so long, I was in this quest of accomplishment rather than enjoying the journey a day at a time. And I want to have $1 billion company. Most of our agents know that we're $1 billion company, not for the sake of what it means to Connie and I. When you're giving everything away, it's still not a whole lot, but it's about significance. It's about being a company that's recognizable and so forth for our agents' sake as much as anything, and bringing an excellent experience and a reputation to the marketplace. But anyways, I'm now looking back and saying, look how far we've come, and I'm joyous about that. 3 years ago we had 17 agents. This was before Jason, BJ, okay, before Jason came and joined us, and that made when Jason joined us, we shifted because he became my who. I couldn't do it all. And so anyway.
So my brain, I just went AD on him from the thing I just talked about earlier today, and that'll be a different class and a different podcast. But going back to the book, The Who, Not How.
Not How.
Okay, here, I got this great idea. So why would you not buy that book and give it for sale by owners or do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys are the who, not the how, right?
It's a great idea.
Huge. I love that. I just came up with that idea.
Maybe with a little love note.
Yeah. Something in there, right? Because actually I got that book from another mortgage lender trying to recruit me.
Really?
So thinking that they needed me to be I needed them to be more successful, right? But instead of recruiting agents to agents, you could do it that you're recruiting the houses. They are buying, you're selling your services through that book. So good stuff.
We're all who's around this table. We could maybe do what Jim is doing here for us, but not as high level and not as great as he's doing. And we could probably figure out how to do a mortgage, but no, probably not. Without you.
Well, and there's a lot of truth in that. And I'll just share is that I used to do my own podcast years back. Back in 2015, when it was just getting going, and I do my own videos, I do my own podcasts, and after doing recording and then having to go through the audio and the setup, could I do it? Yes, I could. But Jim is the professional.
Right.
He has the tool. I mean, like if everybody could see it, he has the tools. He has the
There's a lot of goodness behind the
knowledge.
Scenes. So good.
And it's the very reason that he should be compensated for that. Like, it's just like a FSBO. A FSBO can go out and post it online and, get some eyeballs on it. But if you want quality and you want the best exposure, then you hire somebody like Jim.
Right.
Always remember that. Remember this face.
I can't forget. I know. I can't forget it.
It burns.
I can't. And I wake up in the middle of the night hearing your voice. So you're on TV. You're in my, visual.
I'm everywhere.
It's so good.
We love you, Jim.
But I think that is so true because even the folks starting out in the industry, it's you maybe don't have a very big pipeline, so you possibly can do all of the things. You have the time. But if you're already manifesting the $1 billion company, if you're already planning to, hit your sales goal this year, you already need to put those systems right and hire those folks. And you might not have the dollars right this minute, but in my mind, I look at it as if I could just get one transaction that'll help me cover this, right? If I get that transaction, it'll help me cover that. And then my goal is very simple. I'm just really focusing on 1 leading to 2, leading to 4, and eventually everybody's salaries are covered. And it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
And that kind of follows the Rich Dad Poor Dad. He says if you want a new car, then you go out and find a way to make the money. Or I forget the exact, because it's been a long
create
time.
That in it.
You create it. You don't use it from what you're already doing.
Right. Having a purpose to really go out there, and strive even further for it. So, yes, I've been talking
who, not
about.
How.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to remember who, not how. If you want to grow your business, you got to go with who, not how.
Yeah.
Love that. So.
And then the gap. Remember the gap in the game.
I'm going to get that one too.
Please. But remember this next one, okay, that you read what it's all about. I think you forgot about the other one.
Come prepared this time. Come prepared. I love it. I've moved on to, I was reading that and then I got sidetracked.
I know.
I need to
If you looked at my books, it's like, how in the world is I get anything accomplished, because I've got like probably 10 books open right now. But I look at it as kind of like it's a wine or something. What do you feel like tonight to have? Well, I feel more like bourbon. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the real Anthony Fauci, which I can only handle a few minutes of that, which we won't go down that path. But
what's happening? I don't know. Let's get back on track. Okay, so are we talking about is your commission? Are you
worth your commission? That's the question for the day. Are you worth your commission?
That's a heavy question.
That's a heavy question, because without that conviction, is my conviction anyhow, without that conviction, then you're probably not going to get what you hope that you're worth.
Well, and you summed it up right there with conviction, because that's what, when you burn it, or you drill it down to the core, people will buy you. What do you feel it's worth? So if you don't feel you're worth it, then they're not going to buy into you.
Right.
So, but like I said, you just drilled right to it. It is your conviction of what you're worth.
And I think depending upon how you were birthed into the real estate world, right? Who taught you? Who is your mentor? Who is your coach? The right players were going to automatically teach you value, lead with value, right? And then you'll get paid later, right? But if you're already thinking, I'm automatically should get 3%, right? And I'm just using that as an example, but that's negotiable, right? I'm told, right? It's negotiable. Those are my terminology. Everything's negotiable. But I do see the difference. Yeah. Even for me, talking and seeing other agents, I see some people lead with that and other people's, lead with all the value. And take real estate out of it, go to purses, right? If you really think about it, we pay a lot of money for a canvas purse. If you think about it, right? But they've built up this amazing vision in our minds and all this greatness that we spend a lot of money on those Louis Vuittons. You know what I'm saying? Did you even know that it's not even real leather? They're morphed into real leather now.
It looks like plastic to me.
That's what I'm saying. But all of us pay a bunch of money for that. You would just, your mouth would drop to no.
Oh, I bought one for Connie when we first were dating. Because quick side story here, but I reached out to my daughter-in-law and I said, okay, I don't know what to get, for my, fiance, girlfriend, whatever she was at that moment in time. And she goes, well, she'd love Louis, but how do you know how to say it? And so I go to the mall.
LV.
Yeah. LV. I go to the mall and they say, oh, it's like, for this little guy, it was like $600. And I said, are you kidding me? I mean, what is in this thing? I could tell it was plastic. It's $600. I mean, I went out laughing, thinking they're going to stop me and say, well, this is the real price or something like that. They let me keep on walking.
Yeah, because there's 10 other people that want it.
Yeah, well, a week before Christmas, okay? A week before Christmas, I still haven't come up with something, so I humbly walk back into the stinking mall and go to this Louis Vuitton store, and now it's $900 because it's a week before Christmas. So all I can do is laugh and say, shit. They got me. And I shucked out the $900 and God bless.
But convert that to real estate. There's a lot of people that say, you're worth that. What I'm saying is you didn't think that purse was worth what you referenced the dollar to be. Meaning some people don't think the realtors, worth what they see on paper. Right. I think you're worth every dollar, right?
But it starts with a conviction, like Jason said.
Right.
You've got to believe that because people buy the messenger before the message ever matters. And if you don't believe that, then why would they believe that? That's why I think this is such an important topic to touch on today.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, Jason, how do they develop that conviction? How do you, do you just, but that's what it is? I don't think that's working anymore because that's not what it is anymore. We're seeing
Monty
an average number.
did not use that in the Louis store.
Well, I think it comes down to, your own confidence and of what you can provide. So if you're not confident that you're providing a value, then you are not going to be perceived as somebody who can deliver on that. You can have all the marketing material in the world and come up there, but if in that interaction you truly don't believe it, we pick up on it. That's the beauty about human beings is that we are balls of energy, and we pick up on these senses, and it's through that you're like, something was just kind of off here. I don't know why. I just didn't click. Well, it's because you're picking up on something that wasn't being said. And so if you walk in, and that's why, kind of take it a little bit different lane here. That's why con people are so great. Because they fully believe it. They understand. And you're like, have y'all watched that?
Inventing Anna?
Yeah, Inventing Anna.
Oh my goodness, she had them all.
But have you seen the interview with her? She is solid on her conviction. She is solid on her confidence. So people bought into it. And
$40 million worth bought into it.
But you take that and plug that into any day business.
So true.
Is that Ruth, the girl who played Ruth?
She was the actress. Yeah, she did a great job. But the real person, she did do what they're portraying her to do.
Yeah, because they've got interviews with the real Anna. But what I'm saying is that people bought into her, and then they bought into her plans. So the same way, if you're sitting across from sellers, if they're not buying into you, then it's going to be all about money.
Right. And again, I do think we're going back to a truthful conviction, and keep leading with that. But you're right. There is an ego confidence, and then there's just that confidence of conviction.
Yeah.
Period.
I'll never forget one time years ago, I'd prepared these people that I might be able to sell their home. And hadn't even listed it yet. This was years ago, like before you were probably on the planet, just a long time ago, okay? Anyway, so I come to them after showing one couple the house. I come to them looking for my commission, to sign off on everything. And they said, you think you're worth that much in one showing? And I said, I came out of the clear blue, but I'll never forget it. I said, I know it feels like maybe in this moment that this interaction doesn't feel like maybe it's worth that much money. But to get me to this point and all the disappointment, all the struggle, all the losses of deals, all the work, all the years behind this skill, yes, I am worth this. And I didn't budge on it because they brought up a great point. Do you really believe, like this says here, are you worth your commission? I had a conviction that I was. And I think if you can grow that commission that you are, not because that's what it should be, we all wish it was something, great, grand, wonderful, but do you really have a conviction that you are worth that? And I think that's why we, Jason and I harp on our agents sometimes, maybe it may feel like harping about, you create your value. You have control over it.
And like you were saying with that customer, you can also look at it. Well, it's because I did this so well that we got the offer immediately, and that we didn't have to go under contract and lose the contract and do it again, put it back on the market, and waste a lot of time and cost you more money.
Right.
It's because of my history, my skill set, my professionalism that allowed us to do a one show and done and get the value that you wanted.
So, when they always say have the solution for the problem immediately, right? I mean,
you're always thinking that way.
Only because I deal with the government loans, right? I deal with a lot of stuff that nobody wants, and I have to get everybody. But here, I've got the solution here. So I assume, I'm just assuming that the consumers are automatically going to, have a step back when they see a certain dollar figure. Right. Sure. They're just going to assume that they've seen every TV show. They know, how to sell a home. Isn't it just putting a sign in the yard, right? In quotations, right? Type of thing. Right. So, I mean, clearly, they don't really know until they're in it and they make that decision. But how would you automatically, approach that with the value adds and leads? So what I'm saying is, they call it ClickFunnels within the world of the media or social media.
I've used
and
those.
And so do you do that with your own business? What I'm getting at is you move them in the direction of, and this is what it's worth.
Right. As far as ClickFunnels, I mean, are you talking about lead
using
generation?
but I'm using that as an example where, one landing page, posed a question that led to another, that led me here, led me down there. So as I'm talking to the consumer, even face to face, right, I'm moving them through a conversation of all these value adds that led me to the agreement, and all you have to do is sign here. So you still got them to click type of thing, but it's not online. You get what I'm trying to say?
I kind of come from the standpoint of the AAA, acknowledge, align, and assure.
Okay.
So you acknowledge their question. Are you worth that? You align with them. Hey, I completely understand somebody doesn't do this every day, and then you have all these options. I assure you this is what's going to happen and how I'm going to help you.
Love that.
So you acknowledge,
AAA.
Acknowledge, align, and assure. But also too, as a professional, you have to get comfortable with saying no and walking away, because if you're not comfortable with that, you'll struggle. You'll struggle. You'll take anything. So if you don't fully know your worth, then you're just going to take anything, even if it's even if it costs you money. So I don't know if that really answers your question.
Yeah, I just was curious if people actually walked us through a process to get us to feeling more comfortable, which it sounds like you do.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that I share is that there's options out there, and here at Realty One Group, we do have many of the options. So, if you think it's just placing a sign in the yard, then there is an option for that, that's called a flat fee service. You can pay a flat fee and sign in the yard and list it online and be done. A real estate professional does so much more. And do you mind if I explain how that is? What do we do? What do we provide that actually that we work for this money?
So you got me to give you permission. So you got me to acknowledge, and now I'm sucked in a little closer, right? And so that's really good.
I've acknowledged that yes, there's options out there. Let me share with you, what I provide.
And I love that because you're not hiding anything.
No, because you're acknowledging that is in the world. I mean, there's options.
That's huge. I think that helps me.
Oh, you got it.
Because if not, I'd be like, well, there's other options.
No, there's no white elephant sitting in the corner of the room. No, you got to go ahead and talk about it. Yeah, I mean,
and that's what I teach our agents is that don't think that they don't know about these iBuyers. They've already probably reached out to them. So whenever you do go on a listening appointment, have that conversation.
Right.
Don't not have the conversation and just hope that they have. Go ahead and have that conversation, because one, it's going to show them that you know the market and that you know the options that are out there. And two, hey, if I'm here to help you find the best way and what works for you and your situation, and from there we're going to journey together and do what's best for you and your family.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, if they feel like you've got their back like that, because because let's admit it, that there's a growing portion of the people out there using iBuyers, and so we better have some one of them aligned with us that we can say, okay, this is one option, this is what your net will be. This is another option, this is what your net will be. This is what, if we go our normal routine, this is what your net will be. Now, which one would you choose? What is your greatest fear at this point? Is it certainty? We can create that certainty. Is it convenience because you need 30 days to vacate? We can create that scenario. What is it that you think these other entities, these tech companies, can do that a human being can't do for you? Let's talk about that. Let's isolate the real issue.
In the lending world, we already cut commissions once so many years back. We used to be able to have commission on this type of loan and commission on that type of loan, and then the CFPB came in and changed all that, right? So tighten it up. And now there's talks about, because margins are compressing, so it's now back on the floor of LO comp, as being the discussion. And so it's interesting that it's in both worlds that we're having this, discussion. And it is important for all of us as professionals to continue to rise and elevate, and not just be, one that can be replaceable. Like, we need to strive to always be irreplaceable for that consumer, and or for our employer. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Bring the evidence to the table as far as this is. And then while you're learning, bring what your team is doing, bring what your company's doing. But you've got to be able to prove what that difference is going to be. I mean, for instance, if somebody's tempted to use the company that rhymes with Redfin as an example, and we can compare
Did
that to...
Did you just say the name? The real name?
No, I said what it rhymes with.
It rhymes with it, Carey Ann. It rhymes with it.
So... what do you think? Okay, they got, you're thinking about using them, and tell me what you think your price is going to be. Okay, well, this is what we will do, and this is what the price we're going to end up with. Do you think they're going to, my point is compare what we have done in the past for other people and had, 25 offers on the table, and then we did through those to find out what was going to be the absolute best for them. Do you think that flat fee, or not flat fee, but that iBuyer, or not iBuyer, that... Tech company, that's what I'm looking for. That tech company is going to do that same kind of personal service. No, they're not. They're really not, because there's just a number, and they're going to get their little salary whether you sell our home or not. Think about it.
And then I think you might have said that, is keep it local, right? So we're all consumers that are local. By infusing more dollars within our local community keeps our local community, thriving. Right. When we throw it out there in the tech companies and the world's out there, the money is growing somewhere else, not growing here.
To the West Coast.
Not growing our local economy. But I laughed all the time, when it comes to loan officers too. It's they say they can do it. They send a letter. And we dealt with this twice today, and will they say, I'm like, that's not true. Like, whether it's on a letter or not, and I said, these are your options. This is your choice. If you choose to go that direction, I understand. I want to share with you why I feel that that's not going to work out. To a point where you are not approved, you don't have a job. So I'm not sure if they say that is true, that's going to work out. But it's in all fields. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Carey Ann. I know you're not on commission. I know that you're like me. You get what's left over. And sometimes that's something there, and sometimes there's not.
Well, actually, legally, I have to, on the licensable stuff, I am commissioned, yes.
My point is, if somebody questions you with, are you worth your commission? Are you worth what you receive on a monthly basis or a transaction basis, or however you measure that? Is there any doubt? Is there any question? Or is there any hesitancy, slightly, in your mind or heart?
No, I take my...
Seriously. Now, come on, let's be real. Is there any doubt at all?
No.
There shouldn't be.
I take my profession very seriously.
That's a dumb question.
It's not a trick question.
But I take my profession seriously, and I get up early. Right. I work on my craft Monday through Friday. I want to be the best of the best for the consumer, for the referral partners. But there's other people in my indry that do not do that.
Right.
So I do take my industry and my profession very seriously. So I'm very committed.
Okay.
Did you hear it in my voice?
But that's the exact example that I want all of us to be able to embrace with our whole heart.
Yes.
That there is absolutely no hesitation in our conviction that we are worth our commission. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Even when you're tired,
because I know that you have no hesitation.
Even when you have something come up, you still make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Even when you're tired, you still, stay up and get the job done. So that's what you do because you're worth every penny.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Amen. Any further than that, I don't think.
Well, no, thank you,
the point is here, guys, seriously, hear my heart. Develop that kind of conviction because you know you are, not because you're writing checks that you can't cash. I'm not talking about being arrogant. I'm not talking about being cocky. I'm not talking about saying something that you can't back up, okay? But I am saying do the things, do the work, do the requirements, show up early, stay late, study, go to the classes, do all the things, shadow people, follow people that are successful. Success leaves clues. Do these things, and guess what? Success has to follow you, okay? It has no other choice. It has to follow you, damn it.
No other choice. It does. It does. We're going to be a success.
Amen.
So great having you guys join us. Can't wait to have you come back. You've been listening to The Talk of Music City Real Estate.